Let's first have a look at multi-ball and what will you need and how do you do it. The good news is that the tools that you need are really simple. Just get yourself a small basket. This was really cheap, and you need some balls. As a minimum, try and get about 30 balls. I've got about 50 in here. And you also don't need really good quality balls. Just some training balls are great. So let's have a look at where you put the basket. So do you put it close to the net or far away? Well, you can vary where you have the basket, just depending on the type of drill you're doing. But to start off with, when you're learning to do multi-ball, get it nice and close to the net so it's a little bit easier for you to feed to a target. So where do you stand? Stand close to the basket and around the side of the table. The other important thing is to just make sure you're comfortable when you're standing. Don't stand bent over like that, because after a little while it will hurt your back. So stand comfortably, bend your knees a little bit, and then you'll be ready to go. Okay, so we've got our equipment, we're in position. What do we do next? The next thing is that we take a ball out of the basket, and you can either drop it onto the table and hit it, or hit it straight from your hand over the net. That's a little bit of a matter of preference. I like to bounce the ball onto the table because it replicates a little bit closer a real life rally. Initially, when you're learning to feed multi-ball, don't worry about having anyone at the other end of the table, so you can just focus on what you're doing with your skills. We're going to take one ball out of the bucket at a time, bounce it and hit it. Now, to start off with, this might look fairly simple, but it's a good way to start off with, just to get the feeling of picking up the ball out of the bucket. So as a challenge now, let's see how many balls you can feed out in 30 seconds, but it has to be only in this half of the table. All right, let's go. So how did you go? If you can feed them out at about 1 second per ball, you're doing really well. Okay, you're doing well with that now. So what we're going to focus on next is the timing of your feed. It's important to keep it coming out at a regular pace. If you feed 1, 2, 3, and then 4, the person that's training is going to be upset by the rhythm. They're not going to be able to get a nice flow with their strokes. So it's really important to maintain an even pace. Okay, the next important thing now is accuracy. Why is it so important to be accurate? Because if you can feed the ball accurately, then the training partner is going to be able to practice their strokes consistently. If you're feeding one over there, one over here, one over there, and they're trying to practice their forehand, then you're not giving them the best practice you can. So let's focus now on just getting as accurate as you can. I've put a bat cover on the table, so in 30 seconds again, I'm going to see how many times I can hit the bat cover. Okay, now we're going to step it up a little bit. Now we're going to start to think about feeding the ball out to different positions. Again, we still need to try and be as accurate as we can to make sure that the training partner is getting some good quality hits. So I'm going to hit one to that box, one to that box. Still remembering to feed the ball out at a nice, even timing. And secondly, thinking about being as accurate as you can, getting the ball into the right spot for your training partner. Next, we can think about how many balls you can pick up at the same time. So initially, when we started to get you to feed multi-ball, we were getting you to just pick up one ball at a time and bounce it and feed it. But as you get a little bit more confident, you can start to pick up 2 or 3 balls at a time and that will just give you a little bit more regularity with your timing, and also when you start to want to feed the ball faster, it'll help. Okay, the next skill now is to think about how fast you can feed the ball. Now, it's not necessary to feed the ball out fast all the time in multi-ball, but it's a good skill to have, especially if you get to feed some multi-ball to a more advanced player. Okay, so to get the ball a little bit faster and feeding out faster, you want to get the contact fairly close to the table. So as soon as the ball bounces on the table, we're going to contact it. If you're doing this, then you're going to lose a bit of time. So there's your first clue for speed. The next thing is to get a few balls at a time, so that's going to be able to help you to increase your speed. And have a nice small action so that you can get back to feed the next ball quickly. But when you're going for speed, keeping a consistent pace and accuracy are still really important. Okay, your final challenge now is to combine speed, accuracy, and rhythm. So we're going to see how many balls we can feed out, one to that side in 30 seconds, but you're going really fast. Let's go.